Let's go ahead for maths. Today we're going to look at higher applications of maths, student loans and other deductions like council tax and stamp duty and things like that in terms of wages in the finance unit. Starting with a simple example, student loans. Jake earns a monthly income of, his gross monthly income, 2,412. Calculate his monthly student loan payment if he's on plan 4. So this is a student loan schedule that I've just taken off the government website, and basically, you can be on different plans, and depending on how much you're earning, depends on how much you pay back and what plan you're on. So basically, it's about reading a table and working a percentage out is essentially what the idea is for this. So I've got a gross monthly income of 2,412. Calculate his monthly student loan payment if he's on plan 4. So there's plan 4. The monthly threshold is 2,616. You pay 9% of your income over the threshold, so 2,616, he has £0 to pay. It's as simple as that. If he had more than 2,616, then it works like a progressive system. You would take his monthly salary minus 2,616 and work out 9%. Let's look at some examples. Okay, so a simple example. John earns a gross monthly salary of £2,950 and is on plan 5. So there's plan 5. The monthly threshold is 2,083, so I just do 2,950 minus 2,083, and it says 9% of your income above the threshold if you're on plan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 9% is 0.09. 2,950 minus 2,083 times 0.09, £78.03. Now, you could be asked further questions on student loans, of course, depending on if later on in the course we'll look at accumulation and things like that, and it could be lumped in with that. But that's a simple example of looking at what a student loan is.
Clever Maths is sponsored by Lecky, the educational publisher for Scotland. They offer viewers of this channel a massive 30% discount. Just use the discount code CleverMaths at leckyscotland.co.uk. The practice question books go all the way from level 3 to advanced higher and include national 3, 4 and 5 apps as well, so you can get any book you need for your studies. These are an excellent resource with questions on every topic and contain work solutions so you can see how the marks are awarded. As you go through the book, the questions get increasingly difficult, so by the time you finish your book, you'll be ready for your exams. Usually £9.99, just use the discount code CleverMaths to get 30% off that. Link down below.
Okay, taxes on property, we'll look at two things, council tax and stamp duty land tax. That's a mouthful. In Scotland it's called LBTT. That stands for Land Building Transaction Tax. And we'll look at what both of these mean. So stamp duty to start with. Stamp duty land tax, or LBTT, most people just call it stamp duty, is paid to the government by the buyer of a property. So if you buy a property like a house, you usually have to pay stamp duty, and it can be thousands of pounds. You need to take that into account if you're ever going to buy a house or a flat or whatever it is you're going to buy. But the rate also changes over time, and usually if you're a first time buyer, often you'll get a discount, or depending on the value of property, you might not even pay anything. And it's often presented in bands and is worked out basically just like income tax when you do your tax. So let's look at a few examples. Imagine we had a stamp duty table like this, and Paul buys a flat which costs £300,000. The following stamp duty and land tax rates apply to the purchase. Up to £100,000 is 0%. The next £125,000 from 100,000 to 225 is 2%. And then the remaining amount above 225,000 is 5%. How much does he pay? So the first bit he pays nothing. So we're only going to go for the next 125,000. So in that band it's 125,000 times 0.02. Let's work that out first. 2,500. And then for his next bit above that, the amount remaining above 225,000, well, we've got 300,000 minus 225,000 times 0.05. That is 3,750. So in total, we need to add these together. So again, always use a calculator, don't make a mistake. 3,750 plus 2,500, we pay 6,250 for our stamp duty. Quite a lot of money in this example. Stamp duty example 2. Paula buys a house which costs 500,000. This following stamp duty land tax rates apply to the purchase up to 75,000 per month, 0%. The next 125,000, 3.5%. The remaining 200,000, 8%. Calculate how much stamp duty Paula pays. I'm not sure why it says per month here, so let's just delete that bit. So 0% up to 75,000. The next 125,000, so 125,000 times 3.5%, 0.035. Now, if you can't get that yourself, remember you just do 3.5 divided by 100. So it's 125,000 times 0.035, which gives me 43.75. So now the remaining amount above 200,000, so we've got 500,000 as the property purchase minus 200,000 times 8%, 0.08. That gives me 24,000. So adding them together, 28,375 is the amount of stamp duty land tax we need to pay. Okay, moving on to council tax. It's paid by people who usually live in a property and they often need to pay council tax. It varies by council area, depends where you live in other words, and it is based on the historic value. It's actually based on a value back in the 90s of the property rather than what it would be worth now, which is a bit weird, but it's just I've never updated it. You sometimes need to pay a water charge on top, or sometimes it's combined depending on where you live. And discounts are available, i.e. if you're a single occupant, and if you're a household made up entirely of children and students, you're usually exempt, quite often anyway. So let's look at an example of how to calculate it, look at some tables. We've got, let's Perth Kinross's council band charges for 2024 to 2025. So this is the current one, I just pulled this off the website. And it says Abigail's property is valued in band D. So first of all, we get all these different bands. We need to find out what one we're in. So it says band D for Abigail. And council tax is paid in 10 equal monthly instalments. That's quite common. You usually pay for over 10 months. You actually pay for 12, but the council usually take it over 10 months. Calculate Abigail's monthly council tax charge. Calculate Abigail's combined monthly charge. So let's just start looking at the council tax charge first of all. So when band D, go along, council tax charge is here, which is 1403.69. So that's what I'm looking for. So for part A, we'll call that in part B, A 1403.69 divided by 10, we said, didn't we? Now, I'm assuming you can divide by 10, but if you can't, who cares? Got a calculator. 1403.69 divided by 10, the monthly payment is 140.369. We'll just round that to 140.37, shall we? So that's the monthly council tax. But we're looking at the combined usually, because usually, like I say, you pay your council tax, but sometimes then you've got your water, your wastewater charge, and it all gets lumped together because you're just paying it as one payment to the council. So they usually tell you that total. All we have done is added these numbers together to get 1950.08. So for part B, it's 1950.08 divided by 10, which is, can't be bothered thinking to be honest, 1950.08 divided by 10, 195.008. So 195.01 we'll say. And we're done there. This has been Clan Maths. Today we looked at some other things that can come off your income like council tax and stamp duty. Hopefully you found that useful. Next week we'll start accumulation, the big topic in finance. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye.